We'll cross over live to Parliament to give you the feed and tell you what is happening there.
To join that committee because of leadership. He was able to reach out to get the other partner supportive of the work of members. So please don't run away from any committee. Don't continue to do a good job. And so I want to urge you to let's end it here and get the members. As the Minister for Finance himself stated, he wants the work to be properly done so that when we are granting the exemption, we know that we are doing the right thing in the interest of the country. So with this, I will plead with the majority to support the proposal for us to adjourn for today. Yes, Majority Leader. Anyway, if you are interested in making closing remarks, I will grant you the permission.
Well, Mr. Speaker, just to thank you and thank colleagues for their input on this matter of exemption, and align myself with the directive so given. The Speaker, having said that, I just need to remind the House that we have our brother's funeral tomorrow at Ejisu. We were supposed to do the tribute, and yeah, the family is going all right. But Mr. Speaker, for the record, it's important that we spend few minutes in honor of our brother. Mr. Speaker, we place it on ice to take.
Yeah, the tribute. The tribute.
Just spend some.
No, the tribute at least it has to be read. And one or two people respond to it. We can't just catch it.
After adjournment, there are very important housekeeping matters that would be discussed, and I have the key to that all important. Yes, Mr. Speaker. Yes, and Mr. Speaker, I am going to deliver that special message to those who behave well. They will behave well, Mr. Speaker. So. The Honourable Deputy Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, Majority Leader is going to take the statement.
Yes.
Yes. But Mr. Speaker, before then, just to re-echo the point you made that the Finance Committee must endeavour to meet to deal with all of it. Finally, I would urge my colleagues on the other side that the recomposition of the committees, we are ready. You also said you're ready. So let's ferry sail to Mr. Speaker's offices. Mr. Speaker is in charge of the Committee on Selection, so that those procedural issues are dealt with for us. And this is the time, Mr. Speaker, for those who have challenges at certain committees to be realigned to other committees where they will be more effective. After all, Mr. Speaker says every committee has the same value. Every committee has the same value.
Yes, Deputy Majority Leader.
You go to Economy Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I make this statement ably made by Honourable Anodompe, Majority Chief Whip and MP for Nsawam Aduadri, on a homage for a gallant servant, Honourable John Apuntia Kuma. Right, Honourable Speaker, I believe many will agree that this Parliament has been quite tough on us all, physically, emotionally, and mentally. As we members of Parliament on both sides collectively endeavour to execute the mandate of Parliament for the good of our nation, Ghana, we equally become devastated when one of us lost. Mr. Speaker, Our brother and friend, Honorable John Aponchia Kuma, was undoubtedly a good servant of the nation, and receiving the news of his passing struck us with profound sadness. As the Deputy Minister of Finance, he assisted the ministry in managing our nation's economic challenges during the post-COVID era. Armed with a deep understanding from his education and fortified by his expertise in finance and entrepreneurial development, we were confident in his stewardship and pleased with the outcomes. Mr. Speaker, before his esteemed role as a Member of Parliament in 2021, Honorable John Kuma held the mantle of Chief Executive Officer at the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, NIP. There, his vision and leadership catalyzed a revolution in youth entrepreneurship nationwide. Under his stewardship, the NIP's Presidential Business Support Program of 2018 left an indelible mark, empowering thousands through trainings and funding countless startups. The ripple effect of his initiative reverberated throughout the nation, touching the lives of aspiring entrepreneurs who found their footing with the assistance of the program. Mr. Honorable John Kuma was driven by a profound desire to effect broader change. He embarked on a journey to represent the people of Ejisu in Parliament, a decision met with resounding victory. He was sworn in as a member of the 8th Parliament on January 7, 2021. Consequently, his commitment to service only deepened, and his tenure in Parliament was characterized by respect for all. Mr. Speaker, within these hallowed halls of Parliament, Honorable John Kuma's presence was felt in myriad capacities. His role as Deputy Minister of Finance was a testament to his prowess and dedication to the Minister of Finance was a testament to his prowess and dedication to national economic. His contributions to the deliberations of fiscal policy decisions and economic programs resonated with clarity and insight, shaping crucial legislative outcomes. Mr. Speaker, we also know that beyond the confines of Parliament, Honorable John Kuma's impact reverberated throughout Ejisu, and many of us who kept up with him saw the many good things he was doing. The Ejisu Club 100 initiative is a testament to his unwavering commitment to grassroots development. It bore fruits in various, from agriculture to education. His generosity also extended beyond his constituency, offering support to neighboring areas whenever possible, earning him the admiration and gratitude of colleagues and constituents alike. Mr. Speaker, it is heartbreaking to lose such dedicated servants of our nation. Yet we ought to encourage ourselves to strive on. It is for this elect, and there's no better reverence to show him than to continue what he sought to achieve. As we reflect on his legacy, we are reminded of his selfless service, his unwavering sense of justice, and his dedication to uplifting our nation. Mr. Speaker, though our hearts ache with the weight of his absence, we find solace in the belief that he rests in eternal peace, embraced by the same divine grace that fueled his remarkable journey. May his legacy continue to inspire and guide us as we forge ahead in the path he walked with us. May Honorable John Kuma's soul. Right Honorable Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Honorable members, we take, is it one from each side? Or, yes, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to make few comments on the statement ably made by the Deputy Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, as I make these comments, I still picture my very good friend on the other side, on his last days in this chamber. He looked at me and smiled and was looking down. So on the day they broke the news to us, I asked myself, what happened on that day is what was going round in my head. Mr. Speaker, this nation has lost a very diligent legislator, a very gentle lawmaker. Mr. Speaker, it's not easy to get lawyers who can combine finance with law in this chamber, because democracy can produce anything. So sometimes when you have people of that caliber and we lose them, it is a loss to the state and a loss to the chamber or the House. So Speaker, I could see Honorable John Kuma, the way he started and the person he replaced. But like somebody will tell you, if Baba Yara has not died, nobody will know that Abidipele too will play football. We were wondering, Honorable Osuadumi, the only engineer in this chamber, who could scrutinize documents on Roads and Highways Committee objectively, Roads and Transport Committee objectively, very patriotic and very effective and diligent. But Honorable John Kuma replaced him, and he could fill that vacuum. The Speaker, so when the news came out, and I said, so all that has gone into John Kuma in training him and making sure that he's that diligent, is just bidding us farewell. The Speaker, such people are few. And sometimes when Honorable Abna Oseasare and Honorable Atufosi and Honorable Ricket Hagan, when they speak, and you consider when they entered here, including Honorable John Kuma, if this nation could train people of that caliber, we could have gone far. And when you are going for international negotiation, these are people that you send, but also soon. Maybe we needed him, but God needs him very much. So, Mr. Speaker, I may not belabor the point. Just as we want the best on earth, God also wants the best in heaven. All I can say is, may his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. But, Mr. Speaker, to conclude, from that enclave, we've gotten two painful laws. That constituency is not that far from Honorable Baswa. Two diligent people from that enclave. And I believe, Mr. Speaker, as legislators, maybe, just as we did today, we came here in the morning and it is almost 7 going to 8. We must take into consideration the health of the legislator. I was going to the chamber and I met one legislator, and he was telling, oh, my wife collects 3 times what I collect. And I laughed it off, but you are MP. People think the me surrounding the legislator, nobody have mercy for the legislator. Our plight, I don't know what makes it so, but I think the legislators are suffering. And we must empathize and sympathize with one another. We must take due cognizance of our health as well. As a whip, when we were whipping members, somebody will be coming with his medication. But because they want to come and work for Ghana, they come. These are the hidden things that the Ghanaian doesn't know about the legislator. But I think the time has come for us to take into consideration the health of the legislator. Other than that, we may be losing very diligent people. And when you lose somebody like John Kuma, the loss to the state cannot be quantified. Well, he was a lawyer, a finance person, a legislator, and had the opportunity to work at the Ministry of Finance. So he could see the figures. Therefore, when he's speaking, he speaks with facts. So, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, all that I want to say is that may the soul of our beloved friend, Honorable John Kuma, rest in perfect peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes,
Speaker.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the House for this tribute, particularly Deputy Majority Leader. This is important for me because Honorable John Kuma was my Deputy Minister, and we worked very closely together. He was very hardworking, and even when it showed clearly that he was not well, he was still working. One day I mentioned to him after my appointment as minister that I wanted to go to Kumasi to inspect some projects the Ministry of Finance was providing funding to complete. And coming from Kumasi, in Ashanti region in general, he decided he was going to accompany me to Kumasi. When we got to Kumasi, he followed me throughout my tour of these facilities. There were even times I asked him to rest, but he will not rest. He said he wanted to see everything. That is the extent to which he cared about his community, about his constituency, about his region, working tirelessly to ensure that the region gets its share of the national cake in terms of development projects. Mr. Speaker, Honorable John Kuma was not just hardworking and industrious, but he was also humble. And some of the words used by honorable members who have spoken earlier are true about him. He was also very generous. He gave out everything he had. There have been times that he has offered support to me, and that was the man. When I moved to the Ministry of Finance as Minister of State, it was Honorable John Kuma who first gave me my orientation, taking me through the work of the Finance Ministry and introducing me to various divisions before the ministry organized a formal orientation for me. He was ready to share. He was ready to give information. He was ready to share knowledge. He was particularly interested in matters relating to the youth development. He had been the head of NEP, National Entrepreneurship Program, and so at the Ministry of Finance as Deputy Minister, he had responsibility for wealth creation and continued to provide oversight and leadership to the program of NEP. But it was not only NEP, YouStart, as well as YEA, were programs he provided oversight to. And he ensured that resources were released for the operations of the institutions that have responsibility for these programs. Mr. Speaker, on this occasion, in the passing of Honorable John Kuma, it is a big loss to me personally. It is a big loss to the Ministry of Finance. It is indeed a big loss to our country. Mr. Speaker, as part of his industriousness and his love for his community, I saw on Facebook one time when he was visiting a fish farm and put the video on Facebook. I called to ask him, where was that? And he said it was fish pond in his constituency. I asked whether I could come and see what he was doing so that I could replicate in my constituency. Little did I know that it was a giant effort by him to employ the youth of his constituency. I went to see what was happening. It wasn't a personal business he was running for himself, but he employed, recruited people in his constituency, young people who were managing these fish ponds and earning their livelihood through that. And so Honorable John Kuma gave his all, and we must commend him and continue to credit his legacy for what he did for himself, for his constituency, for the Ministry of Finance, and for the country. I want to use this opportunity to express my condolences to his immediate family and the larger family in his constituency. And on this occasion, we will continue to espouse his beliefs. What he did well, we will continue to amplify it so that generations will come to hear of the legacy that he left behind. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
Yes, former Majority Leader. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to say a few words about the Honorable Dr. John Kuma, the Member of Parliament for Ejisu constituency. Speaker, the member that we mourn today entered Parliament on January 7th, 2021, at a prime age of 42 years. When he transitioned this year in March, indeed on the 7th of March, he was approaching 46 years. The Speaker, he and I were to have joined the Vice President when he was doing his campaign rounds in the northern region. For some reason, I wasn't able to join. He did, and we communicated about how things were going up there. Speaker, let me attest to the fact that when he first came and I encountered him, I saw in him a man who was very conscientious, very industrious, and very duty conscious. Speaker, he was diligent in his enterprise and registered strongly in Parliament, even though he was just a first time. The Speaker, as I said, even though we were to have joined ranks up north, I couldn't go. He reported to me how things were shaping up. The Speaker, he returned from the northern region, and when I spoke with the finance minister at the time, the Honorable Ken Oforiatta, I got to know that he wasn't in the best of shapes. So, Mr. Speaker, if you recollect, when we came to approving the budget for the 2024 financial year. I had some discussions with leadership, and he was one of the reasons why we had to take the appropriations bill on the 22nd of December. Because I knew one of my foot soldiers was not in the best of shapes, and when he returned, he needed to have some rest. When I saw him the very day he returned, I saw that he had indeed shriveled and that had lost so much weight. I inquired from him how he was. He assured that he was getting better. The Speaker, before then, through the Finance Minister, the then Finance Minister, had spoken to him, and he was recovering outside the jurisdiction and gave assurance that he'll be able to travel back to the country on the 20th of December. Speaker, subsequent to that, we met on the 4th of March, when at the Manifesto Committee of the MPP, he joined ranks with the Finance Subcommittee to make a presentation before us. I sat close to him and I asked whether he was in good shape. He assured, but I could see from his mannerisms that he was not really very much properly physically constituted. The two of us were to travel to Kumah in the evening of the 4th. We did, and we were to come to Koforidua where the March 6th was going to hold. That's March 6th. The Speaker, I traveled by road to Koforidua. I got there and I was not so enthused about the environment there. So I drove on to Accra without attending the event. Upon inquiry, I was told that he was still at Ejisu and that he wasn't feeling too well when he had attempted to come down to Accra. But I thought that it was part of the normal ordeal that he was going through. To get to Accra and to be informed that he had transitioned. Certainly not any happy news, and I was really taken aback because I had no inkling that such a tragedy was going to befall his nuclear family, the people of Ejisu, his party, the Parliament of Ghana, and indeed corporate Ghana. Mr. Speaker, as I said, I saw in this young man a man of enterprise and a man of great promise. But it happened when it happened. And as they say, it is what it is today. What else can we tell the family but to console them, empathize with them, and to pray to God for fulfillment to the family and replacement in the fullness of time, so that they'll be able to harvest the seeds that he had sowed for the family, for the community which he represented. Speaker, at this period, I can only say and pray to God that may his soul rest in perfect peace. I thank you very much.
Well, you want to say a word? Please go on.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to add few words to the comments being made. Mr. Speaker, the passing of John is a personal loss to me because, Mr. Speaker, John was my first pupil at my law firm. I don't want to break down, I don't want to be emotional. Mr. Speaker, John is a very hard-working person, and he will settle for something to get something going. Mr. Speaker, I recall when he joined my law firm, I had a principle at the firm that we are either doing pro bono or charging good fees. At the time, these financial crime laws had been enacted by Parliament, and almost all lawyers were running away from practice in that area. And one of my law firm was the first to take charge of some of these cases. And I recall when he joined, after a few periods, some cases were not coming. I said, is it the case that we are in the legal vacation? And one of the officers of the court said, senior, we've been seeing your junior in court. So just that evening, he came with some good legal fees. I said, now, John, where should we hear you? Senior, Kolane Bia charge you too much or to me, so it means that he has gone low cost. I said, this is not the way to do the law. You don't charge too low like that. Later, he opened his law firm. Anytime John would go to the Court of Appeal, he would come for precedence. As we already know, as for the law, there's nothing new under the sun. Mr. Speaker, when I eventually landed in Parliament, he became a political protege. Though I'm young in this business, he told me that he wanted to learn under my feet. He would come home, discuss politics, discuss law, and discuss business. Mr. Speaker, I remember his 24th December visit. Every 24th, John would come with a gift. Every 24th. If I'm not home, he will leave it. And that's something I learned about the Ashantis. When I was doing business in Kumah, they won't leave you naked. Once they value that relationship, that every year they will give you a gift once you are doing business with them. And I saw that in him. Mr. Speaker, now came the 2020 elections when he participated after winning his primaries. We won and we came, and then before swearing in all these jostling for power, I told him that, John, as for me, I want to be a minister. I want to do advocacy at the front bench. So if I get the opportunity, fine. If not, I remain in the middle bench. Then he said, well, I'm also looking for some employment. I said, employment? He said, yeah. Then from nowhere, he said, Chief, almost in finance. Really? The Speaker, he wasn't expecting to go to the finance ministry. It came as a great shock to him. And when he went there, we all know how he distinguished himself. Mr. Speaker, I cannot mention numbers or figures here, but John did not abandon that 24th night visit. He saw me as a senior, the one who trained him. It's safe to say that this time the volumes were a bit high. He will remember my constituents and would add gifts. My condolences to the wife and the little ones. Mr. Speaker, 3 days before his passing, I think I was alone here. And then he came to me and congratulated me and whispered matters of our mutual code, which I can't disclose here.
Mr. Speaker, when I heard John had passed, it reminded me of my own situation 3 years ago, Mr. Speaker. And here I want to state that we must take care of our health. I was all over working and I felt a sharp pain in my calf, just climbing my steps. I said, how? What's the problem? I couldn't breathe well. The doctors did their investigation. Later they said something called D-dimer, blood clot, pulmonary embolism. They said I have to be bed rested for some 21 days. When we checked the clotting, Mr. Speaker, they said it was 7. The normal one is supposed to be 0.5. 0.5. Mine was 7, meaning that I was on my way to see the ascended masters. I said, what is happening? Mr. Speaker, at that moment, when the doctor who thought I was asleep asked my GP whether I had written my will, and I heard, I panicked. What do you mean? Whether I've written my will? And Honorable Kennedy Japan visited, and the wife too saw the report. They said 7. I said, maybe 24 hours will not cover his life. I don't know how John heard I was unwell. He called, he visited. The Speaker, his first thing was to pray with me. I know him to be a charismatic Christian. Mr. Speaker, I started as a charismatic. And I thought I could no more pray in tongues. But when he started, we all started praying in tongues. Mr. Speaker, from nowhere, he gave me a certain faith. So even when I had called my junior brother to come and take certain instructions from me, together with my lawyer, I abandoned it, and I'm serious on this matter. And I say so with a lot of attachment. He left me, and by the grace of God, I recovered. And on my 43rd birthday, which was 27th of May, I had an all clear in my heart area, the lungs. I'm not a medical professional, so I don't want to go technical. But when they did the test, the scan, everything had cleared. And I was still to be on the Xeralto. Mr. Speaker, likewise, when I heard he was unwell, I visited him. The first thing I asked was, John, have you also checked your clotting level? It could be the blood clot, what happened to me. And like the former majority leader said, he was more optimistic about life. He wasn't so worried. He said, oh, Chief, I'll be okay. And I remember listening to Honorable Finance Minister, who had a close working relationship with him, repeating the same thing about his determination, his zeal. Whilst I was concerned about his health, he was all optimistic that Chief Ebeyi, to wait, he shall be well. And that day, when I was leaving his residence, he walked me to the car and left me with a fat envelope to take to constituency. Mr. Speaker, it is sad. But all I want to say is that let's check our health. Recently, a colleague who took his health issue serious called me and told me that, Honorable, go and do, is it colonoscopy or colon whatever, colon what? Colonoscopy. And I said, oh, what about it? He said, oh, he went to do colonoscopy and then he was told that
he was having some infections within his colon. And if he had not checked on time, within 2 years, he would have developed colon cancer. So, colleagues, the work we are doing is no joke. Perhaps you would have mourned me in 2021 till end of 2021. I knew what I went through. And since then, every 6 months, I check. Sometimes we are scared of checking our health status. It will get worse if you don't check. Every now and then, I'm checking my blood level. Every now and then, I'm checking. Do a full scan, check everything, and know it. So that we don't blame the juju and the sasabunsam and the poison, and we say, Obi the that somebody is killing us, somebody actually true. Let's check our health for the sake of our family, for the sake of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, Shakespeare says that there's nothing serious in mortality. I would conclude by wishing the family well, pray for the family, pray that God will give strength to Mrs. Kuma and the little ones to stand firm in these difficult times. I want to urge all colleagues to find time so that tomorrow we all go to Ejisu and mourn our departed brother. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity, and colleagues, I thank you for your kind audience.
Yes, honorable members, I think I can only at least 1 minute. In perfect peace. Amen. Honorable members, Majority Leader, you have a lot of work to do. When you look behind you, you see almost all your able lieutenants are gone. When you look in front of you, you have a crowd there. You have a lot of work to do. Well, we need to get them to be in the House always to support you do your work. Honorable members, because of the good works of this Parliament, a few partners and stakeholders decided to support our work, and they proposed to us the establishment of what they refer to as a democracy cup, which will spice our celebration.
And these have been live pictures from Parliament where both sides of the House have been paying their tribute to the late MP for Ejisu, John Kuma. The majority side have been describing him as a great leader, a selfless leader, while the minority believe his demise is a great loss to Parliament and the nation.